So yesterday in the khutbah we talked about the freedom. And what is the real freedom is that we become the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not slave of anyone and anything. We are not the slave of people, or not slave of our own selves, or not slave of the money, or not slave of a country, or not slave of a system, or not slave of a company. But we are only slave of our Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that makes us the true freedom. As long as the freedom from Allah, it is not possible, because 24 hours a day we need Allah in our lives. Even for our brain, our heart, our system, our cells, and our body needs, and our soul needs 24 hours Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we cannot get freedom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said that everything in the heaven and earth, everything in the universe, all the creation, they are submitting to Allah willingly or unwillingly. So even though we are not willingly submitting to Allah, but unwillingly, every part of our body is submitting to Allah. We cannot get independence from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We can be independent to everyone and everything, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can never get independence. We are always dependent upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now our topic yesterday about some political issue, like there are some countries which were used to be occupied countries. Like there are still some occupied countries like Palestine today, and there is some dispute about Kashmir, and there are some other issues which are still considered as occupied territories. But before the World War I and before the World War II, there were many countries, they were occupied countries. And they got so-called freedom or independence, which is deception. It's not true. The independence or the freedom was given is not true. Rather, they were permanently colonized with financial power. Financially, because they were given different kind of currencies. Example, if you go to the history of the human being, like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, there were no currencies. No rupees, no peso, no dollar, no euro, no rupiah. There were no such system. And that time there were justice, the financial justice. But today, because of the currency, the most of the currency, they are low, depreciate. And the only few currency are appreciate. So somebody controlled it. They are trying to tell us that it belongs to economy and it's because of your effort. No, it's nothing. It's somebody controlled that, totally. They just try to show that it belongs to economy and those things. So no country is freedom today. No country is freedom today, except the few countries. They are still the colonial power and they are controlling the rest of the countries of the world. And the wealth is not properly distributed because of the system of capitalism. That's why the three richest human beings in the world today, they own the money more than 50 poorest countries. Just 3%. They own the money more than 50 poorest nations, the countries in the world. And now example, the Pakistan or Philippines or Malaysia, Indonesia, these countries, they are celebrating a day in a year. Like Pakistan celebrate 14 August is independence or freedom. Philippines is supposed to be celebrating today, June 12. They called it Kalayaan or freedom. Who you get freedom from? If you are talking about the Philippines, who you get the freedom from? They say Spanish. We got the freedom from Spanish. Are you really have independence from Spanish? They say, yes, of course, the Spanish is not ruling here anymore. But you are still following the religion. You are still following the religion of Spanish, the Catholicism. Do you free from the Spanish? Yes, but you still follow their culture. Do you free from Spanish? Yes, but you still call yourself Filipino. Where is it called the come Filipino? The word Filipino come from King Philip. So you are still belongs to King Philip. You are calling that your king is still King Philip. So how you can call yourself Kalayaan? You are making mockery of your own self. You are just joking to yourself. You said you have a freedom, but you call you are the slave of King Philip. Subhanallah, what kind of freedom is this? A man comes to the Philippines, he killed your forefathers, he raped your women, he steal all your wealth, the gold, the silver and all the wealth they stolen, they bring back to Spain, and now you are still calling you are the slave of King Philip. It is so shameful that the country name is Philippines. Rather, this land should be called Maharlika, which is meaning the land of the free people. So every time we repeat this, but there should be more and more action upon it. The country name should be changed. People should have think about their religion. What is the true religion? Islam, to worship one God, and not the idol worship religion to worship three gods, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and worship the idols. Not just the human idols, worship the animal idols. Like people, when they go to Catholic Church, they worship San Lazaro, and there is a dog beside the San Lazaro, they have to bow down to dog also. And when they worship the San Pedro, they have to worship a chicken in the hand of San Pedro. They cannot say, remove the chicken. I don't like to worship chicken. And I don't like to worship dog. But you have to worship them. And that idol worship religion, who gave you this religion? Spanish. Every year in Cebu, they make celebration of Santo Niño. Santo Niño, very small Santo Niño. Maybe 2 feet only, or less than 2 feet maybe. And every year they have a Santo Niño celebration in Cebu. Who brought this Santo Niño? Spanish. And they celebrate Santo Niño. 400 years already, Santo Niño, malit pa rin, hindi lumaki. Malnourished. Masyado malnourished. Even human being is already big. But the Santo Niño, malit pa rin, 400 years now. Galing sa Spain. 400 years, hindi lumaki. And they are worshipping and they are bowing down to that idol in Cebu. So that is, if they are freedom, they should remove this religion of idol worship, and they should go back to their original religion, which is Islam. And there is still there are lots of people, they still consider Spain is their master, Japan is their master, and America is their master. Rather, they should say that our master is our creator. If you are not, make Allah is your master, and if you not make your creator, Allah is your Lord and your boss, then Allah will make you a slave of many people. And if you say, I am the slave of Allah, Allah is my master, then Allah is sufficient for you. He's enough for you. He will never let you to bow down to anyone else beside Him. Because Allah is honorable. If you bow down to Him and you make Him your master, then He will take care of you very much. So independence means, or the freedom means, that we are freedom from the slavery of human being. We have a freedom to be, not to be slave of a human, or not to slave of our own desires, not to slave of system, not the slave of money, not the slave of fashion, not the slave of the actor and actresses, and not the slave of singers, and not the slave of the sports people and celebrities. When the pop of the king of the pop, the Elvis Presley, when he makes suicide, taking drugs, and he was killed, and the news got many young men and women, they jumped from the building and they died. Who? Because their God was Elvis Presley. They make him God. Parang Diyos nila yung Diyos nila si Elvis Presley. When he died with the drug, young people, they jump from the building and they kill themselves because of their passion. So our life is for Allah. That's why we are committing every day in the Quran, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. To you only we are slave, and to you only we invoke for help. And Allah make another testimony with us in Surah Al-An'am, that He said to Prophet Muhammad, say, Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. That surely my prayer and my sacrifice and my living and my dying are only for Allah. There is no partner for Him. La sharika la. Wa bidhalik umirtu an awwalul muslimin. And that is, I am commanded that I am first among those who submitted to the will of Allah. So that's a true freedom. That's a true independence, when we are only dependent upon Allah and we have freedom from everyone except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we become the subject of Allah, the slaves of Allah, then that's a 100% freedom, and that is 100% independence. Only dependent upon Allah and only not free from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We submit to Him, we subjugated to Him ourselves, and we are surrendering to Him ourselves. So that is a message for